faculty thinks I've gone loopy, like some kind of spongy Mobius strip. That's why I'm here, isn't it, Dr. Dekker?
I can see people's dreams.
I've set up an experiment.
My dad is trying to hurt me.
Quantum suicide. Have you heard of it?
If I concentrate hard enough, and I know when the person's going to be asleep, I can have the dream with them.
Well, let's call him God. He creates this world for his amusement, something he can play with and occasionally alter to suit his mood.
It feels like the paintings are watching me.
Sometimes, when I walk through a door, it takes me somewhere else. Literally somewhere else.
God loves chaos, but something goes wrong. Man and woman evolve. What was once chaotic becomes, well, more ordered.
It starts as a door-to-door saleswoman. Double glazing, probably.
Dr. Dekker, I think we both know what you dreamed about last night.
I've seen its silhouette changing through the window.
Because he thinks I'm evil. Because I can see things other people can't.
On the basis the central component of our universe is chaos, science can only document a perception of the chaos at any one given moment in time.
I did what you said, Doctor. They arrested me.
Which means that at any given moment, we can choose to alter our perception of the world, no matter how much chaos that would cause.
I thought you were supposed to fix me.
I'm telling you, it's eating people. And you're just laughing.
You're insane, Doctor.
Listen to me! You're not listening! It's your only bloody job!
Doctor, you're late. And after all those promises, never mind, let's not keep the patient. You're late. And after all those promises, you're late.
Doctor, you're
and
late.
after all those promises, never mind. Doctor, you're late. And after all those promises, never mind, let's not keep the patients waiting. And if you want anything, just... Oh, sorry, I forgot. I'm not going to be here. The police still have some questions they want to ask about, you know. And then after that, I'm dropping in to see Ben. He's still in shock, and I thought we'd show we cared. We do still care, don't we, Doctor? Good. Anyway, I hope you're all caught up on Dr. Dekker's tapes. I think Mariana is in first, but I'm sure they'll all become a blur by the end of the day. I'll see you later. Or tomorrow. Probably tomorrow. I'll leave it to you then.
Dr. Dekker was a complex man. I spent a lot of time with him, but he won't remember it that way. Dr. Dekker's murder was sudden, brutal. It's terrible. But Doctor, 2 weeks. 2 weeks I had of rolling days. No do-overs. No Monday, Monday, Monday. I wouldn't kill anyone, though. I'd have to keep doing it, wouldn't I? Few things seem to move me forward. It's like those montages you get in movies. Time passes, you wake up, shave, if you feel like it, shower, get dressed. What's the point? You get this day over and over, nothing changes. Am I in purgatory, Doctor?
I think you're supposed to tell me what's wrong with me? Isn't that how it works? The police keep picking me up for public nudity. Well, that's why you're here, isn't it? You've replaced him. He was a good listener. I hope you are. I'm Mariana. Are you feeling okay? That's what Dr. Dekker would say. Dr. Dekker could really get inside you. It was, unsettling. But you let him do it. Part of the process, I guess. I black out. And then the next thing I remember, I'm naked on the beach. Like I've been washed up on shore. Nobody's pressed charges yet, but I can feel it. The police are getting suspicious. I do suffer from blackouts, which is strange as I can hold my breath for a really long time. But I'm not swimming before I black out. Dr. Dekker thought it was anxiety originally. Then he worked it out. I work for myself. I make bracelets from things I find on the beach and sell them online. I spend a lot of time at the beach. It's just way more relaxing than anywhere else. You should come with me one day. I can show you all the sights. He eventually decided it wasn't anxiety, but I'm not going to tell you his final diagnosis. We should have a fresh start. I don't want you influenced by the prognosis. I want to stop having the blackouts. I want to stop waking up at the beach. I want to remember those entire evenings. Can you suggest anything that might help? Dr. Dekker thought I had generalized anxiety disorder. GAD, because of the blackouts. He thought I was breathing badly. Do you think I'm breathing badly?
I've known a lot of doctors over the years. Most of them arrogant idiots who think nurses are just there to do their bidding, or worse. Dr. Dekker was different. He had a lot of time for me. He was interested in my problems. I'm Elin. I'm 25 and I'm a nurse. God, I sound like I'm on one of those dating shows. I started seeing Dr. Dekker a few months ago. I thought it would be nice to have someone I could talk to about work. It can get a bit stressful sometimes. He was a bit offbeat, but yeah, I liked him. But then I like most people. I work in a nursing home. For the elderly. I basically do end-of-life care. Terry's one of the other nurses at the home. I don't think she likes me very much. I'm not really looking for love at the moment. I'm sort of married to my work, but in a good way. The usual things. Making sure the patients are comfortable, making sure they're not in any pain, and I talk to them. I keep them company. Some of them get pretty frightened about what's coming. Well, those of them that aren't out of it on meds. I comfort them. I don't like it when patients are heavily sedated, especially when there are alternatives, like herbal remedies. I mean, imagine if you only had a few days or weeks left to live. Would you want to spend it asleep? I wouldn't. I'd want to see every sunrise and every sunset. I'd want to feel every breath. Everything gets more vivid near death. It can be sad sometimes. I don't like losing a patient, but that's the job. I don't get stressed about it or anything.
My name is Claire Castleford, and as I'm paying a small fortune for these sessions, I'd expect you to be up to speed, Doctor. The most shocking thing about Dr. Dekker's death is that he didn't bring it upon himself. But then I hadn't known him for a very long time. Perhaps I was wrong about him. Well, according to your predecessor, I'm a delusional psychotic with obsessive tendencies. Oh, and a history of violence. Sounds so cold when you put it like that, though, doesn't it?
Will you do it for me? Will you watch me to see what happens? Well, that's not very supportive, Doctor. You can check my breathing if you want. Do you want me to lie down? Can you tell just by looking at me? I'm not worried about it, just if you are. I film myself doing, lots of things. But it's not so easy to do when you're blacked out. I'm not sure holding my breath too long is causing blackouts. I mean, it could, but I don't remember ever having a blackout when I'm holding my breath. I normally black out when I'm dancing. I like dancing. Do you like dancing? I dance a lot at nightclubs. I know most of the nightclubs around here. My favorite is the Pearl because they sell cheap vodka shots all night. Dancing is good for you in so many ways. Just turn the music up, close your eyes, and let yourself go. You should try it sometime. You think my dancing causes my blackouts? No, I know it's the last thing I remember, but I don't think it's that. Sometimes I remember more, but I'm tired now. Is that it for today? I don't drink. I hold my breath when I'm swimming underwater. Most people do. Sometimes, if I'm really excited, I'll hold my breath accidentally, just for a few seconds. I don't know why. Wow. Let's get straight to it then. I'm not sure I feel comfortable speaking with you about that at the moment. When I wake up, my hair is dry, but it's pretty hot at the moment. I get baked quickly by the sun. It's possible I've been in the sea during my blackout. I love the beach. Until somebody tells me it's going to kill me, I'll keep going. Have you ever been addicted to something, Doctor? I never find my clothes. I don't know why I'm naked. Dr. Dekker was fine. He had good relationships with his patients as far as I know. I'm not sure why anyone would want him dead. I've been a patient here for 3 months. Today is my patient birthday. Do I get a cake or something? That is so sweet. Thank you, Doctor. I thought so when I first saw you. We should get on great. Like you're not listening. I guess people see me and call the police. But someone will take offense eventually, and I'll be charged with indecent exposure.
I'm Nathan Peel. I'm a supermarket worker from, well, hell, really. I saw the conflict that Dr. Dekker was going through. Let's just say you might look back on your life and think there's nothing you would have done differently. No 2 days were alike for him in the end. Like he couldn't decide what to do with himself. Sometimes it looks different. Sometimes the birdsong will change, or the weather will be less bleak, or that person who nodded at you yesterday doesn't do it today. But it doesn't usually change. You need a tragic event for change, like a murder. He was like a kid in a sweet shop. He had so many options, he didn't know what to do. I suppose if you take too long picking, all your options run away. Because I'm stuck between this day and the next. Most of the time, anyway. I didn't see the driver. It was my fault. I pulled out and the lorry just rammed me. Well, Hannah. She was sat next to me. I was in shock, obviously. And when I came to, she was so close to me. It was like she was trying to hug me. But it wasn't right. Not natural. Bits of metal pushing through her. That was 5 years ago. As far as Dr. Dekker was concerned, we had Monday, then moved on to Tuesday. But me, I had Monday 5, 10, 50 times before I got to Tuesday. I was fine for quite a while after the accident. Well, being treated for depression. I thought I was cured. It was only recently after meeting Dr. Dekker that I had a strange deja vu. I'm exhausted. Doctor, is our time up? I watched that Bill Murray film, Groundhog Day, to see if there's any clues. To see if there's any clues. That's how bad it's gotten. I'm looking for a cure in a Hollywood movie. Can you help me, Doctor? My fiancée, my childhood sweetheart. We met at secondary school. She was head girl, I was the quiet one. She liked computer games, so I instantly fell for her. I proposed in Goldshire. She said she didn't date elves, so I leveled up to a human necromancer and asked again. Sorry, it's Warcraft? We spent a lot of time on there. I don't know how, but thank you, Doctor. This is our first time around, and I trust you. I've been shrunk for that already. If I had that day again, I wouldn't make the same mistake. Hannah would still be alive. We'd probably have a family by now. I haven't had any relationships since then. No, I can't move backwards any more than a day. I don't really seem to control it. It's generally always on. I have to try and change something to move forward. Most of my days a blur. I'm not sure if it's the sleeping tablets I'm on or just how I've learned to switch off. We played World of Warcraft a lot together. I guess it's not the cool thing to do anymore. But we had a lot of memories there. To be honest, it reminds me a lot of life now. The same thing over and over again. Bring me X bunnies to make a stew. Y badger teeth. Rinse, repeat. Maybe I'm just grinding life. I'm not really fit for work anymore. I work in produce at the local supermarket. That mainly involves lifting heavy crates of fruit and veg into place for people to buy, and doing that over and over again. My muscles don't seem to have grown much. I think that maybe I'm not aging. When the day resets, I just reset with it. I used to be a builder. I'm on temazepam. Dr. Dekker prescribed them for me. He thought I would sleep through to a whole new day. I didn't. I'm 57. Kidding. Just if you spent the whole day at the gym and then repeat that day and not go, you'd have achieved nothing.
It's not the job that stresses me. It's the people I work with, the other nurses. They're mean to me. Death is frightening, isn't it? Isn't it what everyone's afraid of? The great unknown. No one should have to face that alone. They call me the angel of death because so many patients have died on my shift. I don't think they mean it. Obviously, it's not my fault. It just seems to happen that way. I'm a qualified herbalist. It's okay, you can laugh. Most people think herbalism is a joke, but I'd much rather help my patients sleep at night with valerian or passion flower than lorazepam, temazepam or zolpidem. 3 last month, 3 the month before that, I think. But only 1 so far this month, so that's good. Although one of my patients, Hilda, I don't think she's got long. She's one of the crotchety ones, always swearing and spitting at me. Never got anything nice to say. Thinks we're going to smother her in her sleep or something. She doesn't bother me though. I'd been seeing him for about 9 months, I think. I think it's terrible what happened to him. So awful. No one deserves to die like that.
I'm Bryce Hemmings. You must be the new doctor. Did you know Dr. Dekker? I didn't really like Dr. Dekker, and for quite a few reasons, actually. I'd rather talk about my own problems for now, though, if you don't mind. How well did you really know him? I hope you're nothing like him. I'm a grave digger, Doctor, and people are dying quicker than we can bury them. Dr. Dekker would say one thing and do another. He would push me to do things I didn't want to do. He was getting worse towards the end. I'm surprised he didn't kill himself. Originally, I was suffering with depression. Work was piling up. I kept missing deadlines. I wasn't used to all the failure. I got depressed. You'd think being a gravedigger had its perks, but it can be very stressful. There's a trend going towards burial rather than cremation again. And as well as running out of space, we're running out of competent gravediggers. At least ones that can use a shovel, that is. I'm not feeling anywhere near as depressed as I used to, though. Not since I got the extra hour. Henley Church, where I work, is located on an old Norman motte and bailey. You can't use mechanical diggers or excavators there in case you destroy a relic. At midnight each day, time as you know it freezes. In my world, it just slows down to almost a stop. But I don't. I'm free to wander around and do as I please. An hour later, normal reality continues. It's my very own midnight hour. Henley Church is relatively small. Well, for the number of bodies they expect us to pack into the ground, it's relatively small. The whole building was once owned by Scientologists, but they handed it back to the community as a tax break, I believe, or they'd finished doing whatever it was they wanted to do with it. I'm not sure I believe in any religion anymore. I used to believe in God, but not anymore. There are too many religions to pick from, don't you think? Then we agree. Have you watched Zeitgeist, Doctor? Some of it is believable, and the part about most religions stemming from the same basic facts. It's more likely they've all got it wrong than one of them has got it right. It's a bizarre thing to know you have an extra hour every day. I rarely ever sleep until after midnight now. so I can appreciate the extra time. I get a lot of work done in that time. I'm completely caught up. The depression is no longer an issue. 25 hours is a blessing for me. But apparently it's not real, and I'm insane for thinking it is. What do you think, Doctor? In the extra hour, I mainly catch up with work. It's a godsend. Sometimes I play chess against myself. It relaxes and strengthens the mind all at once. I stumbled across a relic myself, an ancient chess piece, a queen, I believe. The best chess piece, the most freedom of movement. But they took it away immediately and proclaimed the whole east side of Henley Church a protected site of archaeological importance, which means we're not allowed to use it until the archaeologists have finished. I wish I hadn't told anyone. I thought it would be too early to make a diagnosis, but it's good you're having a go anyway. Yes, Dr. Dekker was murdered. Quelle surprise. Murder does seem a bit harsh, doesn't it? And another grave to dig. I know as much about it as you do. Less, I would imagine. I like chess. I still play sometimes when I can find an opponent. There's nothing more satisfying than planning scores of moves in advance and then watching things unfold as you saw them. I shouldn't have told anyone about the Queen. I do like to be in control, but then I suppose most people do. Nobody wants life to carry them along helplessly. Everyone wants to kick against it and make their own way. Do you like to be in control, Doctor? If you like being in control, you'll have a tough time here. I saw it with Dr. Dekker. Such control, such stability. But he unraveled at the end. He couldn't keep control of everything, of everyone. He just set us up like dominoes, but we all toppled in unexpected ways. You'll find it all out in time, Doctor. Just not today. Can't have your head exploding, can we?
Delusions, as in seeing things that are not there. I'm not going to be any more specific. It's not true in any case. I'm not delusional. Being rich has its perks, but honestly, I would give it all up in a heartbeat if it could free me from this madness. To be fair, there was only one violent outburst that hardly qualifies as a history of violence, and he provoked me. I'm obsessed with my husband. It's absurd, really. I stabbed him with a steak knife. Shocking, isn't it? It was a brief moment of temporary insanity. Or temporary clarity, I'm not really sure which. David had been having an affair with his assistant optician, Iris. How predictable. Not just the affair, but an optician named Iris. Because he is here. And he shouldn't be. Lucky to be alive. He almost died. My husband is not a well man. We've been having problems for a while now. His health, if you can call it that, has been deteriorating rapidly in the last few weeks. I can't cope with caring for him anymore. Since our altercation, he's become less and less active. His mind's become less and less active too. Such a delightful conversationalist at one time, now more of an enigmatic husk. I tried to hurt David once. That's why I'm here, isn't it? I'm not proud of my behaviour, but I was very angry. It was a private matter though. The police should never have been involved. David has trouble looking after himself. Sometimes I'll leave the lake house and he's just sitting in the rocking chair on the porch. And when I return the next evening, he's still there, just staring into the stars. He needs help, I know, but I can't hire anybody to care for him. I never used to get angry, ever. If you're angry, you're not in control. Isn't that right? And it would be very bad for me to lose control. David's staying at the lake house. It belonged to my parents, but I don't use it much anymore. I have the main house to myself. Let's save that for another time, shall we? I'm rich, but I'm not made of money, and I'm fairly sure my time is up. Keep up, Doctor. David is my husband. Dr. Dekker just had that look about him. You know what they say about us crazies. Takes one to know one. The police seem to think I'm dangerous. I'm only sitting here talking to you because I have a lot of money. Otherwise, there's no doubt I'd be thrown into prison for a very long time. That's why I need your help, Doctor. I assume they think I'm dangerous because I stabbed my husband. I suppose after what I did, there are people that might think I belonged in prison. What do you think, Doctor? Can I be saved with therapy, or should I be locked up like a dangerous criminal? That's disappointing. Don't you want to try to make me better? At least Dr. Dekker gave it a shot in his own way.
I guess people see me and call the police. But someone will take offense eventually, and I'll be charged with indecent exposure. I thought so when I first saw you. We should get on great.
Oh, Doctor, glad I caught you. I thought you might want to hear what Ben had to say. Quick catch up? I'm not sure Ben will be coming in for a while. He's still pretty shook up about finding the body. I'm surprised it doesn't happen more often in the line of work he's in. Anyway, he said he found the body at exactly 20 minutes past 10. For some reason, the first thing he did was look at his watch. That's all he'd say before he'd shut down. And the police weren't very talkative either. Sorry, didn't you know? Ben's one of the night shift cleaners. I'm sure he's got some tales he could tell. Yes, Ben found Dr. Dekker's body on Valentine's night in his office. In your office. I wouldn't say we were best friends, but we did spend a lot of time together. There's only two of us that work here. I'm sure we'll become friends too, Doctor. Just try not to get murdered. The police wanted to know what I was doing Valentine's night, when the body was found. I was at home, all on my lonesome. So I guess that makes me a suspect. Yes, the 14th of February, the day of love. Or remembering a massacre, whichever's more you. I think the police want you to make a short list of suspects, or maybe even find the killer. You're seeing all the patients that were on the books when he was killed. There was no forced entry, so they think it might be someone he knew, or someone who had access to the office. Like little old me. Do you think I'm a suspect, Doctor? Oh, well, I wasn't expecting that. I suppose everyone's a suspect at the moment, even you. They did mention I needed grief counselling, though, and I said you'd sort me out. I know you didn't agree, but I thought I'd let you know. That's very kind of you. I wasn't really in his social circle, so I don't know if he had any friends. In terms of enemies, I heard things get heated in his office sometimes, but I won't name any names. I don't know exactly, but a stabbing of some kind. We'll be getting the autopsy through at some point. I'll let you know when. Susan, Annabelle, Melissa, there are some names, but they're not names of anyone I know. I didn't see it myself, so I don't know, but I heard it was a bit of a mess with all the blood and everything. They have people who clean up after such things, though, so you really can't tell, can you? But don't worry, that's a new chair. All I know is the police took his chair. Forensics, I suppose. He was stabbed, so that's quite a personal thing to do. I wouldn't be surprised if it was one of the patients who had a problem with the treatment they were getting. I'm just surmising. If you're unhappy enough to kill your therapist, they're probably not doing a very good job.
I'm having a loop day. It's a do-over day? You won't remember. What's the name of your assistant again? You didn't know that yesterday. Can you remember where I met Hannah? Well done, Doctor. Yeah, we met at secondary. Wouldn't it be funny if my day loops if you fail to get a question right? I suppose it's funny for you. You won't remember. Anyway, I think I'll probably head home. This isn't helping. I'm having a loop day. It's a do-over day. You won't remember. What's the name of your assistant again? I suppose you did remember that yesterday. Can you remember where I met Hannah? Wow, memory like a sieve, eh, Doctor? Yeah, at secondary school. It's been fun, but I've got a pill. Dr. Dekker gave me this pill. He told me if I took it, I'd never have another loot day. It's got a small skull and crossbones on it. Should I take the tablet, Doctor? You're cool. I don't think this is getting us anywhere, though. I'll see you tomorrow. Again. I'm having a look. It's a do-over day. Well done. Can you remember where I met Hannah? No, Yeah, great. I never mentioned a pill this time, or a tablet. Something, somewhere. It's a thing. Some professor believes we could be...
Midnight each day.
On Valentine's night,
Time as you know it freezes.
20 minutes past 10.
Keep up, Doctor.
Thinks we're going to smother her in her sleep.
I'm a grave digger, Doctor.
I was at home,
David is my husband.
all on my lonesome.
Stabbed him with a steak knife.
Nothing changes.
I'm a qualified angel of death.
When I'm dancing,
You get this day over and over.
Hilda.
I black out.
I don't think she's got long.
And Laurie just...
Naked on the beach.
Hannah.
Is that it for today?
Ooh, deja vu. Are you sitting in exactly the same place I left you last night? Oh, that's where it all starts, Doctor. Anyway, do you think you can fit me in today? Looking at the diary, it's just the usual suspects, and you must be getting sick of them already. I've got this for you, too. It's some more footage from Professor Alderby that was hiding away. Well, come find me if you need anything.
I was at Henley Church on Valentine's Day, visiting Hannah's grave. It's the anniversary of her death. Hello again, Doctor. I had a bit of a shaky loop incident, but let's not talk about it. Yesterday, I set fire to Hannah's clothes in the garden. I just wanted the day to move forward. I instantly regretted it. And lo and behold, here we are, a new day. Hannah's clothes, a pile of ashes. We walk alone without our angel. I left Henley Church. Dr. Dekker felt that Hannah was holding me back. The memories of Hannah. In his opinion, I was holding on to the past. So I guess he cursed me, if that's even a thing. I've kept almost all of her stuff, as she left it. It's just the clothes. I've decided to burn those yesterday, so here I am. Hannah loved clothes. Every season, she'd donate her entire wardrobe to some charity or another, and only buy stuff she loved. I was left with winter. I don't even know what her favourite season was. Does it matter? What's your favourite season, Doctor? I'm not religious, but when I wrote Hannah's epitaph, I knew her parents would want some acknowledgement of the great bearded one. But she was an angel to me. She was an angel to everyone. I've been alone since Hannah. I can't imagine anyone ever replacing her. Not that I've looked. Do you think I should look for someone else? It was a missed call. It was Valentine's Day, so I wasn't in the mood for conversation. If you like winter, you're supposed to be hard-working and analytical. I suppose that increases my chances of you curing my problem. I don't think winter was Hannah's favourite season. Not colourful enough. Yes, Dr. Dekker cursed me. I don't really want to talk about it, but let's just say I blame him for the way I am. Can you give me some advice, Doctor? I've been trying to think how I can get past today. I've come up with a couple of choices. I could set fire to Hannah's photographs. I've got them in Dropbox anyway. But setting fire to the clothes did the trick. Or setting fire to a rocking chair. She sounds like an old lady, but she loved that rocking chair, which I've not sat in since. Which one do you think's best? Photographs it is then. I'll let you know how it goes. Thanks, Doctor. I appreciate that. I still don't think I'm ready to move forward in that respect. It's a sea creature, like an octopus. I suppose they find dinosaur bones everywhere. Just because we're on land now doesn't mean millions of years ago this place wasn't at the bottom of an ocean. She's dead. Thanks for bringing that up. She was interested. Maybe I misread. Maybe she was just being kind. I suppose most women wouldn't enjoy me talking about my dead ex for hours. I like winter. Being snowed in with Hannah, just the two of us. That's paradise.
I'm Lacey Hendricks. So you don't know about me then? I was at Henley Church. They had a service that ran right up till midnight. For us less fortunates without a love in their life. Well, now. Do you have someone, Doctor? Do you have a love in your life? Keep 'em safe. You never know who's going to come knocking on your door. Where to start? My next door neighbour in Jobson Hill, where I live, she was murdered. 80, and they diversion burgled her. But she was wise to it and started calling the police. They slit her throat with a bread knife. So I started a neighbourhood watch. It was me and Agnes. Everyone else thought we were overreacting. If they want their throats cut, that's up to them, living in their bubbles. But Agnes, poor Agnes. She went missing, and still is. And that's what people think. But it's not the truth. It killed them. It looks normal enough. A smartly dressed door-to-door saleswoman. I know because I heard my other neighbours shout at her. No Jehovah's! They think anyone knocking is a Jehovah. But but she said she was selling double glazing. I don't know, I didn't answer the door. Best not to nowadays. But I watched her go to Agnes's. Poor Agnes. She let her right into her house. I could only see the silhouette. It turned from a person into a, well, it looked like, I guess you'd call it a Medusa. Snakes for her face. And Agnes just fell to the floor. A few minutes later, the woman left, smiling like the cat that got the cream. That was the end of Agnes. I saw it with my own eyes. What more proof do I need? You're starting to sound like Dr. Dekker. He didn't believe me either. I didn't have much luck with him, like I said. He didn't believe me. He thought I was having a hallucination caused by the stress of my neighbour being so brutally murdered. Where is Agnes, though? They haven't found her, have they? Have they? What? That can't be possible. Is that true? Why don't I know about it then? When was this then? Is she alive? Her useless husband is? Don't know much about him, other than the fact that he looks at me like I'm 6 foot under every time we meet. He doesn't seem too bothered she's gone missing either. He did at first, when the police were crawling around. But now they've gone, that stopped. If I hadn't seen that thing eat her, I'd... No. He's a weaselly little man who spends far too much time in his garden. It's probably like the National Trust back there. The constant digging and building, pruning and sawing. What a thing to say! Why would you say that? I kept watching the front door after that saleswoman had left and nothing. She didn't leave, and you can't get out the back since the council sold the garage block. Ron's a gardener, not a killer. Unless... Agnes said Ron was laying the foundations for a new greenhouse. You don't think... I need to call the police. I need to call them now. But they won't listen to me. I tried to tell them about the monster, but they didn't believe me. They won't believe me about this, I promise you. Please, could you call them, Doctor? Thank you, Doctor. Now give me a pen and I'll write down the details for you. Don't you want to know why Dr. Dekker called me the leech lady? He said that I leech thoughts from people, suck 'em right out of their heads. And I can put thoughts in there too. I'm not that clever though, am I, Doctor? I mean, it's not as if I was having an affair with Ron and Agnes was in the way and needed to disappear. So I made this story up. I mean, what do you think I do for a living anyway? Why did you guess that, Doctor? Because I've got time on my hands. Enough time to worry and protect my neighbours with a neighbourhood watch scheme. You're wrong. But I'll remember that.
I dug the grave for Dr. Dekker. I helped carry his coffin to the burial site. Do you know what? It didn't weigh enough to have a body in it. Why do you think that is? Possibly a relative of yours. Possibly a patient that died here. I'm not sure. She doesn't normally say anything. It's obviously not real. Probably a side effect of the sleeping pills I'm on. Yes, that does sound weird, doesn't it? I take the temazepam as an antidepressant when I feel I need a little chemical help. I don't want to sleep through my extra hour, so obviously I don't take it at night. There's something I want to tell you about. Something else that's wrong with me. I think I've been getting a bit out of control in my hour. No, the coffin wasn't empty. There was something in it. A decoy, I'd imagine. When I first got the hour, I was shocked, obviously. It took me a while to work out that everyone was frozen and only I could move, because I live on my own. What would you do, Doctor, if you had an hour where everyone was frozen? Go to a fairground? I'm guessing he was buried somewhere else, or cremated. Somebody somewhere didn't want his body going in the ground. Do you want to be cremated or buried, Doctor? I did think, what good could I do, other than catch up with work? I did see a woman who was having her purse snatched, so I gave her purse back, and the crook, I placed him on a bus a few blocks away. I have no idea where it was going. She'd never really be able to thank me, so I took another picture. Ha! That was just an example, Doctor. I'm sure you can come up with more exciting things to do than that. That's a good choice, Doctor. Less work for me. Well, that makes me feel a little better. There's a young mother, divorced, who lives opposite me. Jessica. She's friendly and says hello to me, smiles. I've always wondered what she looks like naked. So 1 hour, I broke into her house. She was standing in her bedroom. I took it as a sign. I took off her clothes and... Yes, I would steal too. And I have stolen. I ran out of milk, so I thought I'd go to the local all-night shop and get some more. I was absolutely intending to pay, but when I got there, everyone was frozen. I thought about leaving money on the counter, but that seemed weird. The cashier would wake and suddenly this money would have appeared from nowhere. But I've stolen bigger things. I was home alone. I only live 5-minute cycle ride from here, so I could have been and gone several times. But I didn't. I've never been to this office outside my scheduled appointment time. I took photos of Jessica when she was naked. When I'd stripped her. When she was naked and frozen. I didn't want to have to do it again, to strip her again. So I took pictures to remind myself what she looked like. That's wrong, isn't it, Doctor? I know. It's that bloody Dr. Dekker. He made me this way. It's all his fault. Like I said, I originally presented with depression, and everything was going well for a while. Then Dr. Dekker changed. He was easily distracted during sessions, like he wasn't listening. I'm pretty sure he wasn't listening half the time. I don't think he wanted to know about his patients anymore. But when he did give you advice, he told me to use my imagination, to make something up, to think something crazy, and it would become real. He told me to think of a way to get more time. So I did. But he pushed me. He made me think it. Because you have to hope, don't you, Doctor? It's only the power of hindsight that made me realize how toxic it all was. And after a point, you go too far to be able to come back anyway. I visited Dr. Dekker once a week on Tuesdays. It's my day off because I have to work half days at the weekend. Yes, I suppose I've destroyed a few things whilst in the hour. You can be the perfect supervillain. Nobody knows it was you. That wretched dig goes on 24/7. 25/7, if you ask me. Your patient, Nathan, caused quite a stir. He interrupted one of the female students all night, apparently. Made her miscategorize some findings, going on about his dead girlfriend. It's amazing what you hear at the coffee machine. Well, I suppose that's a bonus. We're allowed to use their coffee machine while they're there.
It's the anniversary of my parents' death today. I went to the lake house. I always go to the lake house anyway, but it's also where they died. Dr. Dekker made me an offer that I couldn't refuse. I'll be taking it to the grave with me, though, as did he. I stood for a while, looking across the water. It's peaceful there. It's the place that makes me feel the most. There was a girl there, by the lake, only about 9 or 10. She was fishing, if you can call it that, with one of those nets on a stick. I don't know why I talked to her. She looked sad. I don't usually talk to children, but she seemed different, special. I'm allowed to talk to her, aren't I, Doctor? Good. It felt nice. I felt like I was being nice. I felt human. So I can find her and talk to her again, Doctor. They died of carbon monoxide poisoning. I was staying at a friend's house. Otherwise, I would have died too. David had been hunting again, and, well, she's seen some of the skins he hung around the lake house. David wasn't there, or at least I didn't see him. I didn't go inside. I forgot my key, and the spare was missing. Animal skins. David hunts, then skins. It's horrible, really. He's not really good at either job, so The skins still have great lumps of bloody carcass hanging off them. I'm sure he'll get better with practice. Then I will. I'll look for her next time I'm there. Met isn't the right word. David has always been there, in the shadows, on the periphery. I move in very exclusive circles. You tend to see the same faces. I don't move in any circles anymore. Those people were my parents' friends, not mine. Love? Yes. I suppose I always will. I don't know. I suppose she just reminded me of me. I spent a lot of time alone as a child. She said she was trying to catch some strange creatures that she's seen in the water. It was 12 years ago. I was still very young. Too young to be an orphan anyway. I had to toughen up quickly. I don't know. Minnows, probably. Everything's strange when you're a child. Valentine's Day night, I was at the lake house, watching David, like I always do. He has trouble with his mental faculties and is getting worse. Yes, I watch him and make sure nothing bad happens.
I haven't had a great day, to be honest. Someone accused me of stealing from my patients, which I would never do. Plus, Hilda's getting worse. Hilda's the one I mentioned in our last session. She's dying. I can tell. I need to see her before it's too late. Yes, I had a session with Dr. Dekker on Valentine's Day. 3 o'clock, I think. Just a few hours later, I still can't get over it. Actually, I had a hot date. It wasn't anything serious, just some guy I know. But it was a nice date, different to what I'm used to. This? Well, it started with this. It's a locket. Alice, one of my patients, gave it to me before she died. Help her finish her unfinished business. People who are dying always have things they wish they could do before they go. We leave a lot of loose ends in our lives. We're very messy that way. I have a few other things. A watch, a ring. One patient gave me a little china bird. They're not valuable, just trinkets really. It was very traditional, old-fashioned, you know. Dinner at a nice restaurant. Then we went for a little walk along the pier. Held hands, had a bit of a kiss. Then he called a cab and I went home, alone. Strictly speaking, all of the patient's belongings should be passed on to family members after they die. But Alice's son never visited. He didn't care about his mum. Why would he care about some worthless piece of jewellery? It just doesn't feel right to me. What do you think, Doctor? Am I wrong to keep the locket? Hilda wants to see her daughter. She's in Australia, so I'm going to have to use my talent. I think it was about 11 when I left Max. I'm sure you could check with the taxi company if you really wanted to, if you think I need an alibi. I can change my skin. What I looked like. I can turn into a patient's loved one. I just hold their hand and ask them to imagine that the person they want to see is sitting right here next to them, and I become them. It's how I help them move on. That's how I comfort them. I only shift at work to help my patients. I don't have any interest in using it as a party trick or to deceive anyone. Really? I don't see the harm. Alice wanted me to have it. You and Terry and all the other nurses just don't understand. I can sense it, you know? It's like when you're outside and there's a sudden change in the light or the air feels different and you know it's going to rain. It's like that. I always know when one of my patients is fading, even before the doctors know. Their energy changes. It sounds silly when I put it into words. I sound like my mum. Dr. Dekker seemed fine on Valentine's Day. He seemed to be in a good mood. It didn't seem like anything was bothering him. Of course, it was Terry that accused me of stealing. One of the other nurses. She's actually trying to make out that I'm some kind of HSK. His name is Max. He's really sweet, but I don't see a future between us. He's not really my type. I've known Max a couple of years, but this is the first time we've been on a date. I don't think he's boyfriend material. Healthcare serial killer. You know, like those nurses that kill loads of their patients. I'm surprised you haven't heard of it. Anyway, Because a few of my patients have died on me, and some of those patients have given me gifts, Terry thinks it means that I've been killing them off.
I haven't been back to the beach since our last session, and no blackouts. New doctor and new hope. You're much better behaved than Dr. Dekker. We went out for drinks. Didn't you know? He said it was a breach of something or the other, but I can be pretty persuasive when I want to be. Shh. I know, it's pretty hard to believe, isn't it? I feel pretty ugly. But I think I have a nice smile. I didn't do anything on Valentine's Day. I washed my hair and then I walked along the beach for the whole night. It's actually true. I saw one of your patients actually. The nurse. She was on the pier with someone. Pretty much all of the night too, so I can vouch for her even though she probably didn't see me. Lots of people find me attractive, but I've seen something truly beautiful. It makes me feel dull by comparison. I have a recurring dream where I find something beautiful in the sea. But I don't know you that well yet, Doctor. Let's wait a while before I tell you my most intimate secrets.
Sorry to cut in, Doctor. I've just had a phone call from a solicitor. Ben's trying to sue us for nervous shock. Should I go and see him to talk it out, or should I find a solicitor to represent us? Sorry to be pushy, I just think we should act quickly before it's too late. Okay, well, just let me know.
Dr. Dekker dated his patients. That's not good behavior, is it? I think her name was Scarlett? One of his patients, an older woman. I guess that's how he liked them. Yeah, drinks. I think Dr. Dekker ordered neat whiskey. I had water. I don't drink. I haven't been back to the beach since our last session. I've kind of missed it. I guess it was a couple of days before Valentine's Day. It wasn't a date or anything. I noticed in our sessions that he'd been acting a little strange. He just didn't seem right. I wanted to find out what was wrong. You do something a lot, you're gonna miss it. I suspect I'll go back there soon, but it's helped with the blackouts. Wouldn't you like to know? Is our session up now? Some girls say that they're washing their hair when they don't want to go out, but I was genuinely washing my hair. Do you think my hair is pretty, Doctor? I'm insecure, Doctor. Isn't it obvious? I've danced around in my living room, but no clubs since last time. I like dancing around in my underwear. Sometimes less. People are quick to put labels on everything. I suppose Dr. Dekker was more than just a therapist to me. We had a lot of things in common, but we weren't seeing each other. I'm not seeing anyone at the moment. Are you offering, Doctor? Well, you have my number, Doctor, and my address. I'm sure you can put 2 and 2 together, if you want to. It's such a mess, but thank you. I'm Jasmine. I don't come in that often. What happened to Dr. Dekker? When you see a painting, it stands still. When I see one, it's moving, like a mini film, like little vines. But when there's a person in the painting, they watch me, normally disapprovingly. When I want them to, normally. When I want to really get inside what's going on. But some paintings, I can't stop. Oh. When? How? Sorry, you probably don't know, do you? I've been working on portraits, at home, outside work. But my paintings aren't so good. Nowhere near Providence standard. I painted a man, Dorian. You know, after Dorian Gray. Ouch. I didn't really know him that well. I'm trying to remember what I was doing on Valentine's Day now. I wanted to try and capture someone aging, so I divided the face into thirds and painted a boy, his father, and his grandfather in each third. It was hideous. And it started talking to me. I had to work all day at Providence. That I'm ugly, that I have no talent, nothing will become of me. Is that true, Doctor? Because they don't think I know how to appreciate art, because I'm too young. I suppose I did ask. But that's really what you think? That's the kind of thing Dr. Dekker would say. He was shy, and then less so. When I told him about my problem, he told me to set fire to it. Yes, of course. Otherwise I wouldn't be working in an art gallery. I love art. I love paintings. Like I said, they move for me. Yeah, he could have been more specific. I tried to set fire to Providence. At that time, I thought the only way to fix my problem was to set fire to the entire art gallery. Several paintings didn't make it. Luckily, my boss didn't press charges. The police did arrest me, though. My boss, Petra, she's just lovely like that. Providence has gone through some tough times, and I've only been there a year. She invested her life savings, and it's still not making any money. Such a sweet lady. You'd do anything for her. No. Why are you saying that? I don't even know if Petra has insurance. Dr. Dekker told me to burn it. It was nothing to do with Petra. I already ripped up the painting. It screamed as I cut it. And now whenever I close my eyes, I can see it, hear it. I need the tablets, Doctor. I need them. The temazepam, the sleeping tablets. The ones you gave me last time. Dr. Dekker gave them to me. They helped. I know it's in my head. I know paintings can't talk. What's wrong with me, Doctor? Why do I do this? Thank you, Doctor. I'll think about that. And the prescription, please?
So, should I get a solicitor, or shall we try and talk it out with him? Hey you! Thanks for helping me with this grief thing. I'm not sure I have it, though. I don't really know where to start. I feel a bit numb. Maybe we should just talk about him. On Valentine's Day, Dr. Dekker had a session with Claire Castleford at 11 and that nurse, Elin, at 3. Everyone else cancelled. You should see this place Christmas Eve. I was at home though, so I don't actually know who came in. Dr. Dekker did phone and ask me for Nathan's number, which is a bit strange. I think we should get a solicitor. I know the perfect firm. I'll do it all. Don't worry about it. And that's why we've got insurance for these kinds of things anyway. But the cheek of it. It hadn't even been a year. He was a quiet, solitary man. A good listener, as I suppose you'd need to be. His confidence did grow as time wore on, but that's what you'd expect after you've fitted in. I mainly miss our chats. He used to work late with me and tell me things about the patients, things that I probably shouldn't have heard, but did. What do you think of the patients? Nah, perhaps you shouldn't say. You can ask me. Go on, I'll tell you what I think. Oh, I just want to cuddle Nathan all up. He's such a mess. He's always in the same clothes. You know, he barely talks to me though. It's the same hello every time. He reminds me of Tom. We'd work late together on all sorts of things. He was preoccupied with finding patterns in patients, trying to find some kind of order. Claire seems to be shaken by something. You know, I offer her drinks every time she comes in, but she always refuses them. It's as if she just wants to come in, get her session over with, and then run off to do something else. It's a bit rude, isn't it? Tom was a quiet mess, like Nathan. Youngish, in his early 20s. He taught piano, but he did have a strange hobby. Mainly he was searching for a common experience the patients might have had. That's what led them to his office. He'd study everything, even the referral letters. Elin seems like a lovely person. I'm not really sure why she's here. Yes, letters, parking tickets, holiday destinations. You know, I find those referral letters... He was sure there was a pattern in them. Tom liked to base jump. That's basically falling from a huge building or mountain and pulling your parachute before you hit the ground. He started to think he could fly. Dr. Dekker tried to talk him out of it, but Tom had to prove his point. So one day, Tom decided to base jump without a parachute. Can you guess what happened? He did die. He was hit by a rock from further up the mountain. He never got to fly. Nathan thinks he knows what his problem is too, but if he's not careful, he'll get hit by that rock. I wish I'd said goodbye. I think Bryce has a lot of misdirected anger. I don't think I like him that much. You know, sometimes when things overrun, he's outside waiting for you, and he stares at me as if he's undressing me with his eyes. You know, he's not the first person that's done that, but still, you know, it feels worse coming from him. Mariana is a special girl. You know, there's something about her that just makes you want to follow her. Maybe that's what a trendsetter looks like. I wish I'd said goodbye to Dr. Dekker. It was so sudden. You know, here, then gone. He resigned anyway, but that's not the same, is it? Dr. Dekker resigned shortly before his murder. It's sad, but doctors come and go and only poor Jaya remains. I've got his resignation letter somewhere. I do all the hiring and firing around here. Well, Professor Alderby and the Trust technically do that. Professor Alderby is a trustee. Did I not mention that? It's smashed. Most of the patients are suspects, according to the police. Almost all the patients are referred, and some of them are privates, but Dr. Dekker didn't introduce any of them. She was cuddling him like he was 6. He's 25. So you watched the tapes? Gold star for you.
David Hunt.
I can change my skin.
Then skins.
Dr. Dekker dated his patients.
I had a hot date.
We went out for drinks.
I took photos of Jessica.
Dr. Dekker did phone
On Valentine's Day.
and ask me for Nathan's number.
There was a girl there.
Am I wrong to keep the locket?
I'm allowed to talk to her, aren't I?
He was preoccupied with finding
Photographs.
patterns.
Rocking chair.
I haven't been back to the beach since
I had a bit of a shaky loop incident.
where I find something
I set fire
beautiful in the sea.
to Hannah's clothes in the garden.
I dug the grave.
I wish I'd said goodbye.
Dr. Dekker cursed me.
It didn't weigh enough to have a body in it.
Oh, Doctor, you surprised me. Reminds me of Officer Yates. Did I ever mention I had a special friend in the police force? Nah, it's not something you drop politely into a conversation. He's been doing some digging and he's found a couple things. There's a crime scene report that goes into all the gory details and another report that's about a patient you're seeing today, Claire. I'll put them both on the desk for you. And thanks for the grief counselling, by the way. It's really been helping, I'm so glad you're here.
Professor Warwick, I'm a physicist. Where's Dr. Dekker? Is he really? Actually dead? Not a worthy adversary after all, then? Dr. Dekker challenged me. He tried to use my theories against me. Quantum theories. Do you really want to know? Dekker's eyes used to glaze over whenever we talked about that. He didn't believe in quantum physics. As if it's something that you can optionally believe in. Well, it started with an experiment. Have you heard of quantum suicide, Doctor? Well, then I'll be brief. According to the laws of quantum suicide, if I were to shoot myself now, then one branch of my timeline would result in my death, whilst the other in my continued existence. I simply applied that logic to something different. Gambling. I set up an experiment whereby I would visit a casino and place a very large bet at the roulette table. Now, I would always bet on odd. Now, the results of this particular experiment were mundane. I won as many times as you would expect according to the laws of probability. But then, I changed a parameter. quantum suicide required a loss of life to make it a realistic thought experiment. So I simply upped the stakes. Every time I bet on odd, I would place everything I had on that one spin of the wheel, and it worked. Well, for a while. Dr. Dekker killed it, and I can't get it back. Why not gambling? My wife Vanessa left me for a neurosurgeon. She emptied our entire combined wealth into her barrister's wallet. I needed more money. Physics provided me with a solution. Well, my theory, quantum gambling. If the stakes are high enough, you will win every time by simply shifting your consciousness into that branch that wins. It's tricky, but it can be done. Dr. Dekker didn't like that. He saw me becoming rich and powerful, and he hated that. That's why he proffered the hangman's paradox. Honestly? Well, I think he feared quantum physics. He didn't like things being explained in terms of science, almost as if he'd have preferred chaos. Well, imagine a judge sentences you to death. Now, it will be Monday or Tuesday next week, but it will be a surprise. Well, which day do you think you'll be executed? Well, it can't be Tuesday, because if you're still alive on Monday at midnight, then you know you'll be executed on Tuesday, so it won't be a surprise. Conversely, it can't be Monday either, because, well, you'll be expecting it to be Monday by deduction. Hence, a paradox. Dr. Dekker tricked me. We were married for 14 years, 7 months and 3 days. Vanessa couldn't have children, at least that's what she told me. She grounded me in reality. I'm not complaining. It's probably what I needed. But part of me always thought that one day I'd achieve immortality through science and we'd be... It wasn't to be, though. Well, yes, it bothered me, especially now that I find out that she's pregnant. Oh, no, it wasn't a rocket scientist that was required, but a brain surgeon, it seems. I have considered putting that neurosurgeon onto his darkest timeline. But I'm not a killer, it would seem. He told me that sometime in the future I would lose a bet, that I would lose all of my money. Now, this didn't seem likely because I had quantum gambling on my side and it was working. But he unnerved me. He made me doubt myself. And then it happened. Recently, I lost everything that I'd managed to build up since Vanessa left me. I was at a fundraiser for a charity called Mindstretch Outreach. Don't know how I got roped into that, I can't remember. But it was full of very clever children with bizarre outlooks on life. And Jaya. It was Jaya who asked me to go. Oh, she's Dr. Dekker's lovely assistant. I imagine she's your lovely assistant now. Yeah, she always smiles and makes me a cup of tea before a session. That smile. Which reminds me, my session. Can we talk about my problem now? It's full of poor kids with very capable minds. I did give them a talk on quantum tunneling once, and they loved it. Not sure it'll put dinner on the table for any of them, though. Oh, you're going to have to Google that, Doctor, I'm afraid. I'm not a walking Wikipedia. I'd love to tell you, but I am paying you by the hour. Maybe look up Schrodinger's cat whilst you're there. I'm not a gambler, Doctor. I'm a scientist. I need more money. It's true I've run out of money for my research. An opportunity has arisen. A very wealthy group of individuals have offered to pay me a very large sum of money if I attend their next private soiree. They don't want to talk or anything like that. They want a practical demonstration. Quantum gambling. It's a pet project. It's got nothing to do with work. But if I don't have significant amounts of money to lose, then there won't be enough jeopardy for the experiment to work. Well, the Ministry of Defense, of course. Guns aren't going to win the next war. Quantum physics is. They'll pay me £1 million if I can successfully survive 6 rounds of Russian roulette. Now, I am worried because of what Dr. Dekker said, but, well, I can't help but thinking that the stakes are so high I can't possibly lose. What do you think, Doctor? Should I take them up on their offer? No. No, I suppose you're right. In a darker timeline, you probably said yes and I'm dead now. I earn good money where I work. How do I stop losing it? I take your point. But I suppose to decide whether to continue gambling or to stop gambling is a gamble within itself, isn't it? Well, my time is up. Will we be having another session or... No, don't answer that. It'll turn you into a gambler like me. Infectious, isn't it?
Can we maybe not talk about Hannah anymore? And thanks for the dating advice, by the way. I burned the photos of Hannah. It didn't work. I suppose because the loss was superficial. The next thing I burned was the rocking chair. That worked. I've been getting rid of her stuff ever since. There was a day when I attacked a Salvation Army bin, but I gave in. I didn't notice Dr. Dekker had a paper spike. I haven't really seen more than a foot in front of me since Hannah died. I've told you all I know about Dr. Dekker. He started out good, then turned a bit crazy towards the end. When you start giving people more problems as a therapist, that's a bit crazy. You told me not to look for anyone else until I was ready, so I didn't. I've just been sitting at home, reading Hannah's diary, stewing. I ordered a pizza. A nice girl delivered it. I started out with depression. Now I seem to repeat days. Even if you don't believe the repeat days, then I clearly have extra mental health problems that he's given me. I accidentally put Hannah's diary into a Salvation Army donation bin. They're like huge post boxes with a circular tray that makes sure things spill to the bottom. I tried to get in to get it back, but I gave up. I read the last few weeks of Hannah's diary a while ago. I must have accidentally dropped in some clothes for the Salvation Army bin. It's funny, because I wasn't going to read it. She said she'd fallen out of love with me, that she was going to break off the engagement, that she didn't love me anymore. I regretted it. I regretted that I mourned for Hannah so long. I regret the grief. I regret all the days I slept through because of it. Had I known she didn't love me anymore, things would have been different. I'm a bit angry now. If I had that day over again, I may just still pull out in front of the driver. I think that he possibly cursed other people, a bit like he cursed me. Sometimes you could see he was bursting to tell me about it, but he couldn't. He was ecstatic with power. The curse. Well remembered. I was hoping he'd forget. It's going to sound crazy. Dr. Dekker said I would never be able to move forward until I came to terms with my grief. And so from this point on, I start to relive the same day over and over again until I made something of it. I believed him. I didn't want to believe him. I remember I said, "You can't just say things and they happen." He laughed and laughed. I think he was going mad. He said he'd give me a demonstration. He held his hand outstretched and told me to look at the flame. There was no flame, and then there was. He was holding a flame in his hand that had come out of nowhere. And he tried to hypnotize me to make me forget it. I didn't forget seeing the flame. He wanted me to forget it all, but I didn't. For whatever reason, he couldn't undo what he'd done. I was scared. I pretended like the hypnosis had worked. I was scared what Dr. Dekker would do to me if he found out I still knew. So I had to play along, keep coming to the sessions, pretend I hadn't seen what he'd done. It was awful, because I was suffering through the same days over and over again, but I couldn't talk to him about it, because he'd know. He'd become bored of me, so I got much of my insight from calls or messages he'd take during our sessions. I think because he hypnotized me, he didn't want to play with me anymore, so I got basic therapist. He told me lots of people get depression, to become more active, see more people. And although he wouldn't always be there to listen, Jaya would be. Yeah, I talked to her quite a lot. I'm not sure how many days of that she'd remember. She seemed to care, which is more I can say for Dekker. It took a week of days to get that pizza girl to smile. And you know what did it? A tip, as much as the pizza cost. So money does make you happy. I didn't kill Dr. Dekker. I wanted to be as far away from him as possible. I don't know who did.
I've had no blackouts, and I haven't been to the beach since our last session. But I think I will today. Do you want to come with me to the beach? Dr. Dekker used to put my checks on that thing. I guess someone thought they weren't getting value for money. I'm okay. Thanks for asking. It's rent day, and I always feel a little blue on rent day. Doctor, I think you're getting a little anxious. If you ever wanted to visit the beach, you can just turn up. It's not mine. I actually don't have a lot of money. Sometimes a therapy check would bounce, but Dr. Dekker would be okay with it. Oh, my checks are fine though, don't worry. Rent day is the day I pay rent to my landlady. I'm not broke. Men buy me drinks at bars though. Sometimes I'll get away with not paying at restaurants. Isn't that how it is for everybody? You've got a good memory, Doctor. Let's talk dreams. Sometimes I'll dream about a light, deep in the ocean somewhere. I head towards it because it's warm and glowing, like a beacon. And when I'm at the bottom, it's the most beautiful thing. Like a welcoming sun. Like I'm home. And then I wake up. I mainly like drive-thrus. I don't like crowds, and I find it difficult to stay in the same place for too long. I guess I'm a fidget. It's so beautiful. It calls me. It's like I'm in a trance. What does the dream mean, Doctor? You think I'm lying? Wow, that's gonna help with our trust issues. Crowds at nightclubs and bars are different. The lights are dim. You can slink around without attracting too much attention. Sometimes I'll kiss a guy in a club, and then he just follows me. Wherever I go. It's creepy. I don't want everyone seeing that. They follow me wherever I go. Anywhere. Where do you think they follow me, Doctor? It depends where they follow me. If they follow me home, they bang on the door for an hour or so, then leave. Other places, they just disappear. I don't see them again. They don't just disappear into thin air. I think they return to the place I found them. But I've not run into the same person twice. Are we still talking about him? And I thought you were just interested in me, Doctor. Yes, they follow me home. They're silent. It's like a trance. There was one guy, a real gym buddy. I let him into the bedroom, but nothing. Nothing I did would stop him just staring at me. It was creepy. I got him to follow me outside, and then I just shut the door. Dr. Dekker suggested home visits. I think he was probably checking up on his investment. You're not thinking of doing home visits, are you, Doctor? I can't afford any more sessions, so it sounds like you'll be paying. That's a date, isn't it, Doctor? I'm not sure that's appropriate. It's just good manners to accept when someone offers to buy you a drink. I'm a very good-natured girl. Don't you think I'm sweet, Doctor? I think you're falling for me, Doctor. Don't let that get in the way of helping me.
It's true then. I'd heard Dr. Dekker was stabbed, but I didn't know for sure. It's weird that whoever did it would choose the paper spike. I'm fine. Work's fine. Hilda's fading fast. Terry's Terry. Oh, you'd be pleased to know I don't have the locket anymore. I gave it back. All of it. Every single keepsake. You told me to. Well, not in so many words, but you said I shouldn't have kept them. And what with Terry going around telling everyone I stole them, I didn't feel like I really had any choice. The lockets, the watch, the ring. But I kept the little bird Sarah Dekker gave me. I wasn't supposed to mention her. Dr. Dekker used to play with it in our sessions sometimes. You know, pick it up, handle it while we talked. I remember once, he pushed the spike through his skin. At this bit, here, between his thumb and his finger. He said he didn't think I'd mind the sight of blood, being a nurse and all that, but actually, there wasn't any. Dr. Dekker's mother. She was one of my first patients, but she died a while ago. Terry seems to have backed down since I gave the keepsakes back. Actually, it doesn't seem like she's been very well. Not her usual self. Maybe she's got a bug or something. Hilda's nearing the end. She's been sleeping a lot, not eating much. She hasn't been that argumentative either. Although, she did give me a vicious scratch yesterday. I was a bit freaked out. At first, I thought it was a trick. A magic trick, you know? Like some kind of therapeutic test. Show the patient this retractable spike and see how they react. But it wasn't. The spike was real. It was nothing. I was just trying to give her meds. It's hard, you know? I'm trying to help her, but she keeps fighting me. It'll be better after she's seen her daughter. I've decided I'm going to do it tonight. She hasn't got much time left. Dr. Dekker gave me the paper spike to try. It wasn't fake. It was pretty sharp, actually. I don't know how he did it. He said he just thought that it wouldn't hurt him, so it didn't. You know the answer to that, Doctor. What have we been talking about? What can I do for Hilda that will make it all better? Seriously? No, that isn't what I meant. You know the answer to that, Doctor. What have we been talking about? What can I do for Hilda that will make it all better? That's the plan. I know, it sounds unbelievable, like I'm making it up. I wish I could prove it to you somehow. We could try shifting now. Think of someone you really love. It might help if you close your eyes. Are you thinking of them? Can you picture them? Okay, hold on. Sorry, I don't think it's going to work. On the bright side, that probably means you're not going to die anytime soon. It's tricky. I mean, I'll sound exactly like Hilda's daughter, but I try and keep it vague because I don't become her. I don't know what she would really say. I say things like, it's okay, don't be scared, I love you, Mum, or I love you, Dad. But it doesn't really matter what their relationship's like because it's not really them. I always do the Disney version. The best, most loving version. That's what my patients want to hear. And maybe deep down they know it's not the truth, but it's got to be better than the reality. Does it really matter if it isn't the truth? Isn't it worth it if it brings them peace? Tell me honestly, Doctor, do you really think that what I'm doing is wrong? Good, because I really feel this is something I have to do. It just makes things complicated, doesn't it? I knew Dr. Dekker's mother before I started seeing Dr. Dekker. She's dead, and now he's dead. I'm sure you're going to have a field day with it. As far as I know, it only works on people who are close to death. That's the whole point of it. I have to hold their hand, and they have to think of the person, and they have to be near death. And those seem to be the 3 criteria. Yeah, that's the reason I came to see him. I knew she was dying, but he refused to talk to me unless I booked a session, so I did. And well, here we are. I told Dr. Dekker that his mum was dying, that he should see her before it's too late. But he wasn't interested. It wasn't like he hated her. It was just like it wasn't important. He asked me to take care of it for him. He did send his assistant along to see her once. Sorry, your assistant. It was about the 2nd, 3rd session we had. He said he could tell that I was a good person, that I wanted to help people, and that I should think really hard about how I could do that. That's how I discovered shifting. All Dr. Dekker did was encourage me to think. But the shifting, that's all me. And my mum's a psychic, and my sister's an empath, but I was just ordinary. I always felt like I wasn't special, like I was missing out. But I wasn't. I just hadn't discovered what I could do yet. Sarah Dekker was one of the first ones I tried shifting for. To tell you the truth, I don't really know what an empath is. I should probably Google it sometime. I didn't really know what I was doing that first time. I mean, I didn't actually expect anything to happen. I just thought, what would really help this woman? I thought maybe she would just imagine that he was there. But it actually happened. I changed into him, Dr. Dekker. It blew my mind. My mum's got these spirit guides and they tell her things. Mostly about my love life, it would seem. My mum's got these spirit guides and they tell her things. Mostly about my love life, it would seem.
It makes for interesting reading, doesn't it? I can tell you're dying to ask me about it. Fire away. A paper spike is an odd thing to use as a weapon. I suppose if it went directly into the heart, it might work. Or through his eye, or perhaps through the ear into his brain. Or was it just a frenzied, bloody mess of a murder? Do you know, Doctor? That's what it says. I can see you're confused. The police say that David is dead, fatally wounded when I stabbed him. The coroner says that David is dead. Everyone says that David is dead. There was even a funeral. But I know he's alive. David wanted to have a talk about our relationship. Not something any married person wants to hear. He said he'd been with Iris for about a year and that he loved her. He said he didn't love me anymore, which which I know is a lie. You don't just fall out of love with somebody. I reacted badly. I grabbed the nearest weapon I could find, which happened to be the steak knife, and stabbed him with it. There was so much blood. I instantly regretted it. So I fixed him. I've been to the lake house regularly, keeping an eye on David. I saw the girl again, the one I told you about. She was playing outside. He's buried at Henley Church. You can go see for yourself. There's even a headstone. One of your other patients was a pallbearer. I never forget her face. You should ask him. Bryce was a pallbearer for David. He's also a grave digger, I believe. Smuggling a body out of a funeral can be difficult, unless you pay the right people. It was about a week later. I brought David back to life. Not with voodoo, not with virginal sacrifice. I just willed it to happen, and it did. Dr. Dekker told me it was possible, but only if you're not buried. He says once you're in the ground, there's no coming back. But until then, you have a chance at resurrection. Yes, resurrection. But now that I've seen the results, I don't think there's anything holy about it. I think reanimation is more an accurate term. Like, I'm an evil necromancer raising things from the dead. I think his brain was already decaying during the week that he was dead. Important bits. So when I brought him back to life, I didn't heal him completely. Just gave him life in the state he was in. I mean, he's hunting and killing things and trying to roast them on fires he can only light with matches, but that's about it. He's your basic Neanderthal. So I have a problem. I'm being charged with murder because the police don't know he's still alive, and I can't get David to vouch for me for obvious reasons. I think it would raise quite a few more questions than answers, which is why I'm hoping that you'd be able to help me. Considering the circumstances, I'd be grateful if you could see your way to declaring me temporarily insane at the time of the murder, to lessen my sentence. Because I'm not a killer, but I can't prove otherwise. You don't still think I'm a killer, do you, Doctor? Thank you, Doctor. So then you'll help me? You'll say I was temporarily insane? Thank you, Doctor. That's all I needed to hear. From you or Dr. Dekker. But Dr. Dekker wouldn't do that for me. He wanted something else. Dr. Dekker teased me mercilessly about my electability. He didn't believe I'd reanimated David. Once he presented me with a dead mouse and commanded me to give it life again. I didn't, of course. It's not something I'd throw around lightly. He changed his mind about me eventually. And then he mentioned the girl. He told me he'd locked up a girl in the basement of his house, just for me, and he asked me to reanimate her. It was Iris. I said I couldn't reanimate something that wasn't dead, and he said that wouldn't be a problem. So I agreed. I just played along. I was hoping it wasn't real. I assumed it wasn't real. But he was offering me what I wanted, a temporary insanity diagnosis. Dr. Dekker asked if I could prove David wasn't dead, so I took him to the lake house. He saw that I was telling the truth. I can take you to see him too, if you like. Would you like to see David, Doctor? Suit yourself. Perhaps I'll bring David to see you instead. It didn't happen. Dr. Dekker called me from his house to cancel. He was furious. He said that Iris had escaped and he blamed me for it. He said that I must have set her free after he told me about her. I knew it was all lies anyways. He was obviously titillating himself by reprimanding me. He knew I'd never want to speak to Iris again, so I couldn't prove it either way. I didn't speak to her this time. Something about her made me feel uneasy. I just watched her from the bedroom window. She'd caught a fish. She was holding it in her hands. How astute, Doctor. Yes, I did say I hadn't seen Dr. Dekker outside of our sessions. That wasn't a lie. Our trip to the lake house was made during a session. I wasn't close enough to see, but for all intents and purposes, it looked as if the fish bit her. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once I caught a fish alive. You tell me. What could possibly explain that? Since I brought him back, I felt that there was something different about him, something not quite right. I think it's his brain. But how ludicrous that you can bring someone back in the first place. It's like that book, Pet Cemetery. Funnily enough, he does smell of earth, but that's because he spends most of his time out hunting. If David doesn't exist, then that means that I really did kill him. He really is buried, and I really should be going to prison for a very long time. That just doesn't seem right to me. It's more probable that I reanimated him under Dr. Dekker's guidance. I assure you, David is not a ghost. I've touched him.
Hello, Doctor. I've been thinking about our last session, and I just wanted you to know that I'm not a bad person. I know taking naked photographs is wrong, but you don't know what it's like until you face the same temptation. I'm assuming you don't know what it's like. Do you have an extra hour, Doctor? I spied on Dr. Dekker not long before he was murdered. I'm not sure I should tell you what I saw in his basement. You're playing games with me, Doctor. I was going to tell you what I know about the murder weapon, but now, well, now you just have to go without.